Here's an issue I get asked about by a few of my rookie gym friends. They say, I want to be an awesome, permissive gym like Brennan Lee Mulligan and let my players do really cool things, but I also want to maintain the consistency of the rules of the game so my players aren't blindsided by ridiculous stuff happening that kind of can invalidate stuff you've invested in mechanically. And it's a tricky one. And the answer is, in my experience, just to make it have a little bit of a cost. A lot of systems already have this in the form of meta-currencies, and that provides a baseline to ride that line regardless of which system you're using. Meta-currencies can take a lot of forms. They might be called inspiration, hero points, momentum, destiny points, stuff like that, but they're all really the same thing. Meta-currencies are a tool that the players and gym can use to push back against the randomness of dice rolls and have a little bit of an ebb and flow as to who gets to decide what's happening in the game right now. Usually they can just give a reroll or advantage or an extra dice, or they might upgrade your success. But what I like to do is I like to take those meta-currencies and I like to just sprinkle in extra little functionalities for them. Something that a lot of new Pathfinder and D&D players will do is read a spell like Tanglefoot and think, okay, I shoot a vine and that tangles up their feet and that's why it reduces their move speed. So I'll cast Tanglefoot up to the window and that'll drop a vine down so we can climb up way easier, right? That makes sense. Do you want to say no? You want to crush their spirit? You want to spit in their mouth and tell them not to come around here anymore? Not really. A little bit, but not really. Let them spend a hero point or some inspiration for it. If it's something that's still pretty zany and you don't think it should have a guaranteed success, make it cost a spell attack roll or an arcana check as well. But this means that you're not getting all these extra benefits out of a cantrip. If you hit the DC, awesome, you managed to wrap that vine around the windowsill and you can climb up it a lot easier. This lets players explore that creativity without overshadowing specific spell uses or widening that caster martial divide that's in a lot of editions. This next one I talked about in my Pathfinder 2 heist video, but it's worth repeating. I lifted this straight from Blades in the Dark. When I'm running a heist session, I'll let players cash in a hero point to run a flashback scene. They tell me something they set up a few days ago, we play it out, and we abstract it down to just one skill, so it doesn't balloon out into a massive thing. That might be, swiping the plans for this mansion, it might be stalking someone and finding out their schedule, and we just make one roll for that, whether it's a thievery check or an arcana check, whatever. And I like to make this a secret roll. Keep that tension. You don't know whether or not it panned out. This happened a while ago, other things might have happened. Maybe the plans you stole didn't have the renovations on it, and now you're in the scene dealing with those consequences. Again, this gives players that little bit of extra shenanigan-y control without letting them do it willy-nilly. There's a cost. These hero points, inspiration, you generally want to save these, so you can't just do this all the time. My table plays with a moderately strict hands off the chess piece rule. If you've taken your turn, a decent amount of time has passed, there's no tatesy-backsies. It can be hard enough to track what's going on in our shared hallucinationscape without someone retconning something every minute or so. But these can be complex games. It can be hard enough to track what's going on in our shared hallucinationscape. See what I did there? I undid it. I went back on it. If a player really screwed the pooch, misread how their powers worked, just biffed it. Let them take it back. For a hero point. Nothing in the world is free, and you want to be able to give that leeway to undo things, but you want to also encourage people to not undo things all the time. You want to reward the people who aren't taking back their turn and taking up more time. So you have a little cost to it. You assign a fair cost, and you reward the players that have their shit sorted. Something I'm guilty of sometimes is being a bit of a backseat gym. I'll add NPCs to the world because I think they should be there, and then I'll go talk to them and leave whoever's running it to pick up the pieces. I do this in our recorded Broken Prophecies Pathfinder game, coming soon, and while it didn't break the game or anything, you never want to put the gym off kilter. So the simple solution is this. If you're a player and you want to add a family of friendly trolls under the nearby bridge, it costs 0 points. I want you to be invested in the world. I want you to build this place with me, but you don't know what's behind my GM screen and what the significance of that bridge might be. So I'm just going to put a little barrier there in the form of hero points. And it might cost more if it's going to be a real pain. But you give me a couple hero points, you give me your inspiration, yeah, friendly trolls, they live there. I'll deal with it. You're now more invested. I hope I'm illustrating my point here. These meta-currencies give your table an established way to both give and take with your gym outside of game rules. Yeah, Pathfinder's Fireball doesn't explicitly say it could knock down a tower, but if you sweeten the deal with a little hero point action, maybe. Commodifying shenanigans might sound like a libertarian hellscape to you, and that's okay. But this is how I limit shenanigans at my table without giving out hard no's.